Hey, good afternoon. Brian Willett here. A couple of years ago, I wanted to do like a lot of people. I was looking for that special ingredient on how to increase my willpower. So like most things, whenever I have a question, and like a lot of you, I think of two things when I have a question. I say, who can I ask or what can I read? And so because I was looking to increase my willpower, I said, what can I read? So I went out and found this book here. It may be backwards, but it's a New York Times best-selling book. It's called Willpower, Rediscovering the Greatest Human Strength. Also, we got The Power of Habit, great book. Charles Duhigg talks about willpower. This is old school. I don't even know when it was published. It's really old, The Power of Will. And then Talent is Overrated, talking about how talent is overrated. And it gets into willpower. So like most of you, I wanted to increase my willpower. And so, when it comes to willpower, it really goes along with delayed gratification, okay? And so most of us now, we live in a culture, we live in a society where delaying gratification is almost impossible to do. I love Amazon, but Amazon is trying to totally redo the whole supply chain cycle where you can order something online this minute and have it delivered to you by the end of the day. If we want an answer to something, we can immediately go to the internet. If we want to buy something, we can use a credit card, even if we don't have the money. All of those things have led to delaying our gratification, right? And since we're unable, a lot of us, to delay gratification, what it has done is willpower, okay? Willpower is a muscle, okay? Willpower is a muscle. And when we have now evolved to where most of us, a lot of us really struggle in the area of developing willpower because we don't have to. We don't have to delay gratification. If we want it, we can have it now. And so developing that willpower. So again, I said, what can I go out and learn about willpower to increase the ability to have more willpower, to do the things I wanted to do, to get things done when I wanted to get them done, to have the energy, more energy than ever before to accomplish what I wanted to accomplish. And so through my reading, what I found was a couple different things. Let me start off with number one. How can you increase your willpower? Well, in the book, and all the books I've read and through my own experience, the first thing I recommend is do the hard things first, okay? And so what do I mean by the hard things? Well, whatever it is in your life, in your space that is hard to do those first when you are at your freshest. When you are most fresh, do those hard things first. For example, working out, right? Working out, I know a lot of people, and I used to be one of these people that I'd work throughout the day, and then I would try to put that workout in at the end of the day. And I know some people do it successfully. Some people, that's the only option they have, and they're able to do their workout at night. But what I found was I'd get to the end of the day at that 5:30, 6 o'clock time, even if I knew what time I was getting off, which most of the time I didn't, at the end of the day, though, I'd put that at the end of the day, and by that time of the day, I was so fatigued, right? Because it has been said that we as humans make up to 35,000 decisions a day, okay? Let me repeat that. 35,000 decisions a day. Is what an average human makes on a given day. So by the time we get to the end of the day, we are fatigued because willpower is a muscle, and it must be, and when it's worked, just like your muscle in your body when you work out, it gets fatigued. And so what happens is when you get to 5:30, you don't have the willpower to say, I'm going to go and work out, or I'm going to do whatever. So my number one is do the hard things first. So whatever it is, whatever that leads to the best results for you personally in your business or in your life, do the hard things first. That's number one. That when your willpower is at its strongest is when you need to exert that energy into the most profitable, the thing that's going to lead you to the best results. Number two, Mr. Carnegie, Dale Carnegie, those who know me, I'm a Dale Carnegie trainer and salesperson. And Mr. Carnegie said this in his book, that How to Win Friends and Influence People and How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. He said, rest before you get tired. And so what happens for a lot of us when we get tired, we start making bad decisions, okay? Because our fatigue is down, okay? Now, I'm not a nutritionist, but it goes back to our glucose level in our body. Just like when we're hungry, we don't make as good of decisions. We don't have willpower. So one of the ways to increase willpower is to eat more, obviously eating the right things. But resting before you get tired. And so sometimes for me, I can just take a 15 or 20 minute nap, and that little bit of time allows me to become reinvigorated, to have the energy, the willpower. It increases my willpower because I rested just enough to say, now what do I need to do? And I'm able to get back at it and do whatever I needed to take care of. So that's another way you can increase your willpower. Rest before you get tired. All right? The other thing, this is kind of a Brianism, okay? And some of you may do this same thing. And that is protect yourself from yourself, okay? Now, how does that increase willpower? Okay, well, let's just say the human condition is this, that we all are going to struggle with willpower because guess what? We're not going to do the hard things first all the time, right? It's too difficult. We're not going to rest before we get tired, all right? So then the third point is protect yourself from yourself. Now, there are times during the week that I have a lot of late nights. And those late nights meaning that I'm fatigued, I'm going to come home, and I consider myself fairly healthy when it comes to eating, okay? And so I come home and I'm tired. I've been running since, 6:30 in the morning. I've delivered training. I get home, and if I have sweets or, foods that are high in saturated fats or, just bad food, whatever it is, candy bars, chips, you name it, if that is in the house, guess what? I'm going to eat those things right before I go to bed. And so I have made it a point to protect myself from myself, okay? So I don't put those things in my house. Now, sure, we have some snacks here and there, but for the most part, we don't put those things in our house because I know the human condition says this, that we are going to be weak at times, and don't put the stuff in your house because when you're at the weakest, when your willpower is at the lowest, you will succumb to it and you will eat that stuff, right? And so that is number 3, protect yourself from yourself. So let's go back to the top, all right? To increase your willpower, all right, you have to take the time when you are at your best, when you are most fresh. Maybe it's in the morning, maybe it's mid-afternoon, whatever it is for you, and do those hard things first. That's what all of my research shows, and that's what me personally, with my own experiences with myself and watching others, I must do the hard things first. That is when willpower, okay, that is when my willpower is at its strongest, that I must do the hard things, whatever it is, the things that are going to lead to the best results for me. The second thing is, as Mr. Carnegie says, rest before you get tired, okay? It could be a 15-minute nap, could be a 20-minute nap, but before you go into big decisions or maybe big meetings throughout the day, it may be beneficial to take a 15, 20-minute nap or something like that to rest yourself so you can increase your willpower and be fresh. We all know that. We felt that before. I'm also going to say, also make sure you eat. Again, glucose is important to all this when it comes to willpower. The last thing is, protecting yourself from yourself. And I throw that in there. That's a Brianism. But I've always made it a point. I got to protect myself from myself because I know the human condition. I am going to have lower willpower. I'm not going to be at my strongest all the time. And so when that happens, okay, I can't have bad things in the house. I can't set myself up for failure. So those are, 3 just kind of random ways you can increase your willpower. My advice to you is, again, I don't know this guy here, but this book by itself, Rediscovering the Greatest Human Strength, Willpower, Roy Baumeister is the authority on willpower. And those are just some tidbits to increase your willpower. I hope you found this video valuable. Please share it with others. Look forward to connecting with you. Also, if you would, go to Brian Willett Group and like my page. I'm going to be sharing some other information with you as well there. So make it a great day and have a good weekend.